And so this is the map of our body and our brain. In our brain, Ned. Poor Ned's getting tired. He's looking for retirement, but right now he's still employed. He's got a bit of scoliosis. He has a non-union fracture of the tibia. And he's had many, many surgeries, a pin in his neck. So, you know, if in terms of injuries, he probably tops it. But basically, in our brain, there's a map, and it's called the homunculus, which is a horrible name, but it means little man, okay? And it's like wrapped around our brain in that the representation isn't like standing up like this, okay? So if you've ever heard about the person that is an amputee and they feel, you know, in different places in their body, they feel weird things, it's because the representation of the map isn't proportional like this. The lips, the eyes, the hands, the feet, and the genitals are all really big in the map, okay? The back, the thighs, the buttock area isn't so well represented. So that's why when you get a paper cut and you're on your lip and you're like, ow, you know, it's this tiny little cut. And at the end of the day, from the barn, you take your pants down, there's 5 bruises, and you have no idea how you got them. Right? And that's because the representation of that part of our body is much smaller than these areas like lips, hands, feet. And so when we think about riding, where are the places that most instructors focus? Hands and feet, okay? And eyes. And where are the places that are least focused on? Pelvis, thighs, back, okay? And typical. Right? You know, hands down, heels down, you know, sit up straight. These generalized commands that we're supposed to somehow know how to do and accomplish in a way that's going to give us the result that we want, the horse doing what it's supposed to do, right? But unfortunately, the part of the body that we really need to be the most educated is this part down here where we have the least awareness, if you will. It's not the part of the body that we spend a lot of time thinking about or learning how to use well. But if we're going to be a good rider with an effective seat, it's this part of the body that we have to learn about to learn how to function. Okay, everybody with me? Okay. So in our brain, we have this map called the motor cortex, right? It's the homunculus is the sort of esoteric name, but it's in the motor cortex, and it tells us where we are in space. And it's what allows us to drive 60 miles an hour down the highway, reach into the grocery bag in the back, find the candy bar with the particular wrapping, and pull it out so that we can have a snack while we're driving. Nobody's done that here, right? Yeah. But what happens to this map, and it's one of the reasons I ask about injuries, is the map can be altered by driving our car endlessly. Okay, so most people drive their car, they have to get their right foot on the gas pedal. In the Subaru, it's tucked way over here, so you have to do something funny, and then you put more weight on one hip, and then you put your other arm on the console, and you drive for hundreds of miles like this. And then we get on our horse and think we should sit straight. Okay, so what's happening here, and we're going to do this again in a minute, okay, is this shows us how our map has been altered. We function just fine because it's our map. It's when our map gets on the horse, that's when we have the problem. Because we think we're level, and we're not. Okay, so everybody gets to stand up again. And you get, you know, some people say, well, what if I switch arms? It doesn't matter. You can do whatever you like, but we're going to do this again. And while your eyes are closed, Debbie and I are going to come around and level your hands. And I want you to notice how you react to having your hands leveled. Okay, and then after you feel that reaction, then you can open your eyes and make sure we didn't cheat. Okay, all right, so arms out, one arm up to 45, one arm down. We have to leave you here for a short-term habit. So if you always carry your purse on one shoulder, or you parked your baby on your hip, or you carry the water buckets always with one hand, or you feel like you're incredibly right-handed. You know, a lot of people say, oh, I'm so right-handed. These are all things that are going to affect our ability to ride well, but it doesn't mean we can't learn new tricks, right? What we have to do is remap our body in space. And that's a lot of what we're talking about, what we're going to do here. Okay? So in a moment, without touching your hands together, bring them level, keeping your eyes closed. And Debbie, if you go that way and I'll go this way. Okay? And we're just going to come around and just make your hands level. And I want you to notice how that feels before you open your eyes to check that we weren't kidding. And if I tap your fists, you're level. Okay? And so if we've touched your hands, then you can open your eyes. Oh, he sneaked back. Okay, and just see. All right? Yeah, it's interesting. Okay, and let your arms down, and you can sit back down again. So how did that feel when Debbie and I adjusted your hands?
I felt like it was uneven.
Uneven. It felt crooked, right? Did it feel wrong to anybody? Yeah. If I had asked you to make that much adjustment, would you have made that much on your own? No. And that's because our nervous system is really finely tuned, right? So if I'm here and I tell you raise one hand and you raise it a little, your brain's going, wow, that's a big move. And I, as the instructor, am looking going, that's not enough. Do more, right? So your instructor's like, more. And you're like, you've got to be kidding. This feels so wrong. Because from your internal perspective, your internal environment, you have made a huge change. And so that's one of the things about riding, in that if we're only told what to do or shown what to do, we don't get the physical input as to how to do what we want. So I kind of think of it as like you start rolling the marble up the hill, but you don't get over the crest to go down the other side. You roll up and roll back, and you roll up and roll back. And so you constantly feel like you can't quite get there. Okay? What we're going to do is push over the hump. Okay? Or help you get over that hump. Because we have to help you feel what's on the other side that's going to be so powerful that that's where you want to be. And you'll give up this old idea because you know there's something else.